Alright, we are cruising along. It's the second half of 2025. Time waits for none of us. Let's get going and talk about some of the new games releasing in the second half of this year. Some things to look forward to. Keep in mind, video games get delayed all the time, so all this is subject to change. But as of right now, here's what we got. We got 25 games, so let's get started off with number 25. Dying Light the Beast is really more of a follow-up to Dying Light 1 than Dying Light 2. What originally seemingly started as Dying Light 2 DLC has morphed into its own standalone experience, centering around the later exploits of Kyle Crane, the dude who starred in the first Dying Light. He's supercharged with seemingly animalistic creature-like abilities, and that looks like that's gonna shake things up. Coupled that with like the pared down, more simplified nature, quality over quantity, and I think it's shaping up to be something pretty potentially cool. I like the first game a lot more, and for them to kind of run with some of the stuff from the first game, I think that has potential. Dying Light the Beast is releasing August 22nd. Next at number 24, Hell Is Us. Looks like an incredibly unique game. What initially kind of looked like a Souls-like game, but in a kind of future dystopian universe with Death Stranding vibes, Hell Is Us seems to be its own kind of third-person action-adventure game with challenging combat, lots of cool and interesting NPC interactions and decision-making, varied questing, and just really, really cool environments and enemy types. It does look incredibly challenging, but also just really, really unique. And we gotta give them credit for that. This game is being headed up by veterans of game development from different studios coming together to make this, and I think this just has a lot of potential. Since this was announced, we've kept our eye on it. And it seems like we're not gonna have to keep our eye on it too much longer because it's releasing September 4th. Next at number 23, speaking of one I've been keeping my eye on for a long time, it's Kingmakers. This game initially went viral with its first reveal because essentially it was big medieval battles, but you're just a guy with a gun and a pickup truck in the middle of it. It's definitely morphed into a much bigger project. It's picked up a publisher. It seems incredibly ambitious with not only large-scale battles involving a bunch of fun, modern world creativity, but also actual strategic planning, building, and a bunch of stuff. So kind of like the best of both worlds for people who want all-out action and people who like, medieval dad simulator games. They've been working on this one for quite some time, and honestly, it's been at the top of our list since it was first revealed, and we now know finally it's at least coming to early access this year on PC. Next at number 22, we have Borderlands 4. It's back with like a whole new vibe and setting, and I think they might be onto something with this one. Borderlands 3, while, generally liked, I think, by Borderlands fans, wasn't the massive shakeup it could have been, and Borderlands 4 looks to be that, like I said, the setting change, but also seemingly tons of new movement options and just way more flexibility, and apparently a kind of revamped sense of humor and writing that might go a long way. Either way, if it's more Borderlands and the loop is good and addictive and satisfying, I think people are gonna go for it. I'm curious to see how Gearbox really shakes things up this time around, and thankfully, this is another one. We don't have to wait too much longer. It's releasing September 12th. Next at number 21, we have Arc Raiders. This PvPvE extraction shooter, yes, you've heard of a lot of those, but this one seems to just be really catching on with people. First of all, it's third person, which is something I just love. That's a good perspective. But along with that, it brings some incredible environment design, art design, character design, technology design, enemy design. All of it just looks incredibly unique. And like I said, it seems like they're really onto something with this one, with just how it's been done, how they kind of revamped it. They spent a lot of time on it. They haven't really been rushing it, and so far response to alphas and betas have been really, really positive, especially considering now the other big extraction shooter thing isn't coming out this year in terms of Bungie's Marathon. I think Arc Raiders can really swoop in and steal the show. Next at number 20, we have Wuchang Fallen Feathers. This is a Souls-like style game based around Chinese mythology, and it looks incredibly challenging, but also a ton of fun. Early preview impressions from this have come across very, very positive. Even if it's something that you kind of see it and you know what to expect, it seems like a really damn good one. It's being published by 505 Games, and I think in this one the character and like her abilities seem really unique, and there might actually be some cool story that unfolds from this, because like I said, it is set like in the Ming Dynasty. She has amnesia, and also you're fighting some really, really gross, weird creatures. I think a Souls-like game with some mystery and intrigue and some gross, weird creatures is really all you really need. So I'm excited to see how this one goes down. It's releasing July 24th. Next at number 19, we have Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. This has been long in the works, delayed many times, revamped, different development studio took it on. I don't really know what to make of it now in its current state, but it has so much potential, man. The original Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was so cool. Really like a defining RPG for PC sweaties out there, and vampire fans, of which I am both. So I'm still holding out hope that this game finally makes it to the finish line and is cool and lives up to the name. As of right now, it seems like it's releasing finally in fall of 2025. Now at number 18, I'm going to be incredibly biased here and talk about Terminator 2D No Fate, simply because this looks like the game of my dreams. If I was a kid growing up, this is like what I imagined a Terminator 2 game to really be like. You're running around as Sarah Connor, the Terminator himself, John Connor in the future, and all of it is done in a really cool retro style with beautiful art, but also modern sensibilities. It's taking a hybrid approach, cribbing from a bunch of different games like Metal Slug and beat 'em ups, and I think if they nail it, they could be onto something really, really special. Next at number 17, we have The Outer Worlds 2. Obsidian is essentially making a bigger Outer Worlds, really taking advantage of what they built with the first game in terms of just universe and lore, and really doubling down on action, playability, and depth. Again, early impressions for this one seem to be very positive, and I still think like this style of game specifically, this feel is really their bread and butter, so I hope they run with it. It's releasing October 29th, 2025. Next at number 16, we have Subnautica 2. The aquatic survival game that took the world by storm is finally back. It's been so long, dude, but as of right now, it's still shrouded in some mystery. It's been officially announced. We got some small looks at it, a little trailer, but it doesn't tell us too much. Still, there's so much potential because, like I said, the original game was great, but also all the post-launch support and just the way the community took to it was even better. So if all that can happen again with the second game, it could be a match made in ocean survival heaven. As of right now, it's releasing in early access sometime in 2025. Next, over at number 15, we have Silent Hill F. Finally, can you believe this? A brand new, completely unique Silent Hill game in 2025. I'm glad we're finally here. It looks really, really different for a Silent Hill game. Yes, it's foggy, but that's about it. It takes place in Japan, in the past, so there's a lot going on. You're a younger character, a stressed out character, so it seems, but thankfully we're getting simple survival horror combat from what we've seen, also incredibly grotesque and unsettling monster designs. Much has been made about this one in terms of like Konami and the developers behind this Silent Hill really wanting to do something different while honoring the horror that they have created, of course, but also celebrating and introducing more Japanese elements to it. I think that could be really, really cool. But also Silent Hill, before the remake of Silent Hill 2 we recently got, there were quite a few swings and misses. Hopefully Silent Hill F really ends that streak in terms of new Silent Hill games kicking ass. We'll know for sure when we get our hands on it September 25th. Next, over at number 14, it's the endless meme, Hollow Knight Silksong. Yes, it seems like Hollow Knight Silksong is releasing in 2025. At least that's kind of what we got when it was at an Xbox event thing and it showed that it was coming to Game Pass in 2025. Not much to go on, and that could change. This game has still, other than that, been pretty radio silent, but it is the follow-up to the incredible 2D, intense, challenging Metroidvania game, Hollow Knight. So there's still time. If you haven't played that, you definitely should. But hopefully, we actually see Silksong this year. Next, over number 13, we have Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. They're going nuts with this one. Sonic Racing is good, but it seems like they're going way harder here. You're in the air, you're in the water, you're flying high through the sky. There's a bunch of new characters. The visuals look pretty great. And I think, honestly, Sonic is best when they're just having a ton of fun with it and they're not taking it too seriously. There's going to be 24 tracks, you're going to warp to 15 CrossWorlds, and there are 23 Sonic characters from throughout Sonic's legacy. There's split screen options, multiplayer options, and Ichiban from Yakuza is a character, and I just really like that. This is going to be a ton of fun. It's releasing September 25th. Next, over number 12, Painkiller, the PC first-person shooter classic that I enjoyed quite a bit, is back with a bigger emphasis on cooperative action. I didn't totally expect that, but what we got here looks pretty cool. Aesthetically different, but crazy over-the-top monsters, wild environments, but most importantly, fast, chaotic first-person shooting. 3D Realms is publishing this. They have a legacy of like classic game development and of course old school PC first person shooters. So I really hope this is good. This could be like a fun co-op kind of alternative to Doom the Dark Ages, Doom Eternal, if you're looking for something like that and you're just mowing down hordes of enemies with some really interesting weapon types. I don't know, man, the jury's still out on this one. I'm not like 1000% convinced, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's up. It's releasing October 9th. Next, over at number 11, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. This is a revival of the classic style Ninja Gaiden games from the old days. Incredibly challenging, incredibly tight. Think Cuphead, but you're playing as a ninja. The old school graphics here are absolutely beautiful, the gameplay tight and responsive, and the music, with some of the original composers returning, is absolutely kick-ass. So they really understand that old school retro style and challenging gameplay. I got to play a preview version of this and I came away impressed. So I'm hoping that the final version of the game just completely kicks ass for old school Ninja Gaiden fans and new school fans as well. As of right now, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is releasing July 31st. Next at number 10, we have Ninja Gaiden 4, sticking with Ninja Gaiden, but now with the modern 3D ones. I can't believe we're getting a new Ninja Gaiden game. I don't know why, I just didn't expect it, but here we are. Not only that, it's Team Ninja, but also Platinum. So hopefully that's a match made in heaven in terms of, chaotic combat action. We've also got a new main character, which I'm not completely convinced of yet, but I'm willing to let them give it a shot because thankfully Ryu is still in the game, and that's important because he's awesome. If you've never played one of these Ninja Gaiden games, expect some really, really challenging but fun action and just rewarding over-the-top boss battles. I hope they can really honor those original Ninja Gaiden games. The original Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden Black technically are it's still like one of the best games ever made. Anyway, Ninja Gaiden 4 is releasing October 21st. Next at number 9, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. This is the remake of the classic Metal Gear Solid 3, seemingly retaining a lot of the gameplay and animations and just style of that game, but slapping it with a new coat of paint and a couple of tweaks and things to make the game a little easier to play. From what I've seen though, it does seem like it's like really retaining the gameplay of the original down to its little quirks, and I think that's good. This is definitely one of the best games ever, but I'm of course completely biased as a diehard Metal Gear Solid fan. I'm also really picky though, so if this releases and I don't like it, I'm gonna let you know in the before you buy. Still, I think there's a lot of potential for new people to get exposed to Metal Gear Solid who haven't yet through this. I just really hope Konami doesn't screw it up. The trailers do look nice though, so this is releasing August 28th. Next, over at number 8, Mafia, The Old Country. This is a new Mafia game set in the past, early 1900s, and it's in Sicily, dealing with crime families there. This looks like this could be absolutely awesome. They're once again focusing on more of a story-based adventure with car chases, potentially like horses, and tight third-person shooting and set pieces. And I think this could be potentially awesome. The remake of Mafia 1 from a few years back was great. It was a little short, but still it was so much fun to play through. And if they do that again here with this, and they're also charging like a lower price, the game's gonna be like $50, I just think that's the right move. Mafia: The Old Country is releasing August 8th, 2025. Next, over at number 7, we have Lost Soul Aside. This is finally releasing after years and years of being teased. What started out originally as a one developer project, it's morphed into a whole big old action adventure combat game. Think of something like a mix between a Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, and some of the aesthetics and characters and magic of a Final Fantasy game. We've had our eye on this for years, and we're so happy it's finally going to be a full-fledged game. PlayStation's publishing this one. They've definitely had their eye on it for a while, so they maybe hopefully really saw something special with this one. Next at number 6, we have Little Nightmares 3. Same publisher, different developer this time around, but I think if they can continue the feel and vibes and just creepy character and monster designs of the original 2 games, we could have a hit here, because Little Nightmares 3 also introduces co-op gameplay. While the second game focused on you bringing someone around on your adventure, it wasn't really a co-op game. So here, Little Nightmares 3 being full co-op, there's a lot of potential for really cool co-op antics and just creativity in terms of puzzle and design here. But honestly, I'm just excited for like the environments and the scares and the weird stuff that's gonna go down. I love these games for this type of stuff. And it's the perfect game for spooky season because it finally got a release date, and it's releasing October 10th. Next, over at number 5, speaking of October games, we have Jurassic World Evolution 3. You know, I'm glad they keep making these games because they're fun park builders set in the world of Jurassic World, or really Jurassic Park if you want to be real. Evolution 3 is bringing bigger parks, way more variety to those parks, and just kind of like the biomes that they are in. Also tons more danger, multiple game modes, more customization. This has the potential to just be the definitive Jurassic World Evolution game. They've been really building on this formula, and thankfully we'll get to play it October 21st. Next, down at number 4, Gears of War Reloaded. This is another remaster re-release of the original Gears of War, yes, but this time it's really the Mac Daddy. 4K resolution, high frame rates. You can crank this thing up to 11, and it's probably going to look pretty damn good. Along with that, they're bringing back all the multiplayer, and it's going to be cross-platform, and I just think that's great because the old days of the original Gears of War multiplayer were a ton of fun. Along with that, Gears of War is coming to PlayStation officially. So you're going to be able to do like an actual like Lancer chainsaw attack with a DualSense controller. It's going to feel weird, but hey, times are changing. So if you're looking to get back into Gears of War, this is releasing August 26th. Next at number 3, we have Ghost of Yōtei. This is the follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima. I'm really looking forward to this one because ever since Ghost of Tsushima released and I 100% of that game, I've just been looking forward to more. This takes place in a different time period, years and years and years after the events of the original game. You got a new character, you got a new invading force, and you're on the actual like mainland Japan this time. You're not isolated to an island. Along with that, they've been pretty good about like showing us a little bit about the game, but not spoiling everything new. Like, cause honestly, it's Ghost of Tsushima 2. You know what you're gonna get kind of in terms of open world and combat and stuff like that. I'm already on board, but I am excited to see like what they really cooked up with this one. Like, what is this story? Why they have moved on from Jin, and like what they can really do with the gameplay, how they can bring it forward, especially with it being based on PlayStation 5. We'll know for sure when we get our hands on it October 2nd of this year. Now down at number 2, Donkey Kong Bananza. This game looks crazy. It's you as Donkey Kong with Pauline on your shoulder running around smashing stuff. The game has kind of like a really interesting land deformation technology where you're just punching your way through everything, up, down, left, and right, every direction. And if this is kind of like a Donkey Kong meets Super Mario Odyssey, that just could be a winning formula. I did get to play this a little bit behind the scenes, a preview version of it, and I think it's pretty cool. It's mindless fun, but sometimes you need that. And Donkey Kong punching stuff and getting bananas is cool. Sometimes, honestly, it doesn't have to be that complicated, folks. Donkey Kong Bananza is releasing pretty soon, July 17th. Now, down at number 1, Crimson Desert. This one people have been fiending for a while because this is just a incredibly ambitious, good-looking, open-world RPG with basically everything. I think that's the best way to explain it. Tons of loot, side quests, decision making, giant battles, flying, magic abilities that you can combo, a lot of combat and battle elements that kind of rival something like a Dragon's Dogma 2, while also tacking on elements of things like The Witcher 3 and also some of the magic hand powers of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This game game is going big. It is trying a lot of stuff. Whether or not they nail it remains to be seen, but you can't help but be in awe of the ambition. Not only the fact, like, it also just looks like the world is really big and the graphics pretty damn good. A potentially good blend of, like, you know, medieval fantasy and weird video game magic stuff. Pearl Abyss, the developers behind this, had previously done Black Desert Online. They've been cooking on this game for a long time. No solid release date yet, but they have officially said late 2025. But those are 25 new games releasing in the second half of 2025. Some things to really keep your eye on. Of course, you get the typical things that are announced every year, like a Call of Duty. We now have Black Ops 7, and there's going to be some surprises that we haven't accounted for, things that we don't know are coming out this year. But for now, these 25 on this list are some that we're excited about, you know, we'll probably make videos of. So let us know in the comments what interests you. If you like this video and you like talking games with us every single day, clicking the like button's all you gotta do. It really helps us out. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell, because we put out new videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.